Hey there, and thanks for joining me again for NCIA's weekly episodes of NCIA Today. I'm your host, Bethany Moore, NCIA's Deputy Director of Communications, checking in with you every week on Fridays with updates on what's happening in the industry and here at NCIA. First of all, Vince and I and the rest of the NCIA team are heading home after this broadcast to honor the brand new federal holiday, Juneteenth, to commemorate an important milestone in American history, which marks the end of slavery. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. As NCIA's government relations team continues their work on the industry's behalf in Washington, D.C., here's another reminder to help our efforts by, first, checking out our congressional scorecard on our website to see where your senators stand on the issue of safe banking, so you can then pick up the phone and ask them for their support today. Also, check out all about the benefits of our newest top-tier membership called Evergreen for policy-focused cannabis companies. Head to thecannabisindustry.org/join to learn more about our new membership packages, Evergreen, Blooming, and Seedling. In the meantime, let's check in with our government relations manager, Madeline Grant, to hear more about what's happening in cannabis policy reform at the state level.
Hi, my name is Monica Gray.
Kimberly Cargile.
My name is Sharon Data G.
Even though I've been a member of the National Cannabis Industry Association for the last decade, this year I moved up my support and my membership to the Evergreen tier.
With the help of NCIA and being an Evergreen member, we believe that we could push this agenda forward.
Banking's always been my number one issue. Payment processing has always been a huge issue, cash payments. But now that the cell phone companies are getting involved,
we need to make sure that we get minorities and African Americans, people that have been affected by the war on drugs, indigenous people, brown and black people holistically needs to be a part of this conversation.
It is so amazing to have a group like NCIA that has my back. Let's get you in front of these senators that don't know what it's like.
And as the best of the best, and we want to make sure we have a voice as cannabis legalization is moving forward.
Government relations and advocacy directly affect the bottom line.
Really getting to the table as a small business member to making sure that the small business member, small business owner gets a voice at this policy table.
Part ensuring a smooth transition into federal legalization and regulation for our legacy industry here in California.
Realizing that no one's going to fight for you like you can fight for yourself, I decided to take NCIA's support in joining this tier of focusing on policy.
We need to come together and push for this agenda.
It is critical that our industry steps up and engages.
We need to make sure that our voices are heard.
We have the support of NCIA by joining the Evergreen tier as our lobbying firm for us, the little people.
Cannabis business owners, entrepreneurs that really see the bigger picture to say, let's push this agenda forward. We can't do this without you.
It is so difficult to run a business and be a small business owner in this space, in this cannabis space.
I encourage you to join me and become an Evergreen member today.
We need your help.
Join the Evergreen tier and fight.
Hi, Madeline. How's it going? Thank you for joining me today. I bet you're excited for summer now that we're slowly pushing past the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hi, Bethany. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm very excited for summer. I'm ready for a few weekends at the beach.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm ready to escape into the mountains here in Denver myself. All right, well, let's dive into some news at the state level when it comes to cannabis policy reform. We are seeing new states introduce some legislation from sea to shining sea, just like the title of your blog published this week. So let's start in the Western United States. What's happening in Wyoming and Nebraska?
Sure. Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of advancement in cannabis policy in the states. So in Wyoming, we see that lawmakers failed to pass a bill to legalize marijuana this session. However, last week, two measures were submitted to the state to place medical cannabis legalization and adult use criminalization measures before voters on the 2022 ballot. And then in Nebraska, we're seeing marijuana activists are gearing up for a mass scale campaign to put medical cannabis legalization on the state's 2022 ballot after the state legislature failed to pass a bill. So we're seeing, those movements happening at the state level, which is super, super exciting.
Okay, all right, a little progress, very interesting. All right, so if we move down to the southern states, what are we seeing in Texas, which is a big one, and Louisiana?
Sure. Yeah, so in Texas and Louisiana, we're seeing the governors of both states separately indicated that they will sign marijuana reform bills that have recently been delivered to their desks. So that's very exciting to have that kind of support from the governors of both Texas and Louisiana. And then also in Texas, we're seeing a newly formed progressive coalition called Ground Game Texas. This group works to engage voters on issues like marijuana reform, for example, that are popular among young people and Democrats. So we're seeing, a push at that level, which is very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that'll certainly be a game changer for a state like Texas. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. All right, so let's move on to some other states here. What's going on collectively with Ohio, South Carolina, and West Virginia?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. We're seeing the Sensible Movement Coalition, SMC. It's actually an Ohio-based marijuana group. Is helping campaigns in West Virginia and South Carolina. So it's helping them get cannabis decriminalization on their ballots this year. And SMC has traditionally pushed for reforms just within Ohio and has seen great success in their efforts. But now they're focusing on helping other, traditionally more conservative states. So that's very exciting.
It's nice of them to help their neighbors. All right, so finally, over in the northeast part of the country, we have Connecticut and Rhode Island, those smaller states up there, making some moves. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. So going to Connecticut, we're seeing the governor. He said that he'll be upset if the legislator fails to deliver him a bill to legalize marijuana in their special session. So we're seeing, movement there. The Senate also approved a legalization proposal in the final days of their regular session last week, but an expected House vote was called off as time ran short in the face of Republican opposition. So they're running into some issues there, but hopefully we see that build up and more movement in Connecticut. And then in Rhode Island, for the first time in the state, a bill to legalize cannabis for recreational use has advanced. The Judiciary Committee approved a marijuana legalization bill that's being championed by the leadership in the chamber. So, very exciting. And we're going to continue to watch these states. And, these are not all of the state updates as well. There are more. I just, kept it a certain amount for the blog, but there's always movement in the states. Every single week you read the news and there's some update. So we'll be sure to keep you all updated on a movement in the states.
That's awesome. And looking at Rhode Island, I have to think of our friend Tom Angel at Marijuana Moment, who is from Rhode Island. So I bet he's particularly happy to see a little bit more movement nudging in that direction as well.
Definitely.
So for our viewers who might be constituents of any of the states that you mentioned, what's the best course of action for them if they want to help these efforts?
Sure. So anybody can get involved in these efforts at the local and state level. And I'd be happy to put you in contact to do so within your state. So if you're interested, please just shoot me an email. My email is madeline@thecannabisindustry.org. And I'd be happy to connect you with the right people so you can start helping to, help push things forward in the states.
You betcha. It starts at the ground level in the grassroots, and then
Yeah.
here we are. So
Yeah, every voice counts, and the more the merrier for these situations. So please, if you are wanting to help or get involved, I'd be happy to put you in the right place to do so.
great. So email Madeline at thecannabisindustry.org and she'll help you out. Thank you so much for joining me today for this update, Madeline. We'll check in with you again soon, I'm sure.
No problem, Bethany. Have a good one.
You too. Enjoy the beach.
Thank you.
All right, if you haven't had the chance yet, be sure to download our newest policy paper titled The Medicine of Cannabis, an overview for medical professionals and policymakers. Patients are looking to their medical providers for information on cannabis safety, potential for interactions with pharmaceuticals, and therapeutic applications. However, the existing legal environment significantly hinders the ability of clinicians to engage with cannabis research or offer clear guidance. Download the report today at thecannabisindustry.org/reports. If you're a member of NCIA and you'd like to learn more about submitting educational blogs for our readers or being a guest on our weekly podcast, please send me an email at bethany@thecannabisindustry.org to get the ball rolling. I hope you're already tuning in to both of our weekly podcasts, including our newest effort called NCIA's Cannabis Minority Report. Check out the episodes on NCIA's website with host Khadijah Adams. You can also catch it live on NCIA's Facebook page every Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to subscribe to NCIA's Cannabis Industry Voice weekly podcast, which has been airing for over 4.5 years with well over 200 episodes available on wherever you listen to podcasts like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and more. Even more exciting is that this podcast has been in the top 50 U.S. business news category on Apple Podcasts since early 2020. If you're not tuning in every week, now's a good time to get caught up. All right, let's wrap up this week's show with some reminders. Our events team is working hard behind the scenes on all the details of our upcoming in-person trade shows this fall. Mark your calendars now for the Midwest Cannabis Business Conference on September 22nd and 23rd in Detroit, and the Eastern Cannabis Business Conference on December 7th and 8th in Baltimore, plus our 7th annual Cannabis Business Summit and Expo, December 15th, 16th, and 17th in San Francisco. It's going to be a busy fourth quarter this year, so plan accordingly. Reach out now to learn more about opportunities to secure your booth on the expo floor. In the meantime, you can stay connected and inspired this summer with NCIA's weekly webinar series, which keeps you up to date on best practices and regulatory issues. Be sure to follow our social media channels on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram to check out all the great content and inspiration we're sharing. And if you're a member of NCIA, log into NCIA Connect and spark up a conversation with your fellow NCIA members and colleagues today. We'll see you next week.
So we're very proud to be NCIA members. We've been members for the last 3 years, and I gotta say, every event, every conference, every get together that's sponsored by NCIA is a good opportunity, not just to meet others in the industry, obviously, but really to talk about the industry as a whole, where it's going, where it's been, our challenges to date.
We feel really grateful to NCIA for including us in the educational tracks the last 3 years. We've been at every Seed to Sale and most of the shows on the West Coast.
Every time we're here, I always have a sense that it's not just another one of these industry conferences, that it's actually that it is the industry's lobbying arm, and that it's an organization that is protecting all of us and fighting for the legal future that we all need.
At the end of the day, the most important and impactful thing for us is the community. It's really about the people that NCIA brings together, and the events like this one that NCIA organizes for us to gather.
If you're in this industry, NCIA is trying to influence it positively for you. If you're not speaking up, if you're not participating in committees, you're missing out on a huge window. Everyone wants change. Well, this is one of the ways you do it.
You don't have to be a member of the NCIA. You could just do nothing and let them do everything for you and fix all the problems that need to be fixed for the industry to work properly, and you could just sit on the sidelines. That would be fine, but it'd be better if you were a member.